Hi, I'm Amber Young,
And I'm Barbara Phillips.
and this is
Let's
Let's Talk
talk EVM.
Welcome everyone.
We're
Welcome to our
excited to be
podcast.
here.
Yes, we are. And we're going to start with our disclaimer that I state for myself and Barbara.
Thank you.
And the disclaimer is that all of the views that are expressed on this podcast are our own, and they are not the views of the United States government.
Yes.
All right. So, with
Well,
that, we have something special for you, Barbara.
I mean, every episode is special, isn't it,
That's true.
Amber?
That is
Okay.
true. That's true.
We you know how we've had these soapbox moments, but it turns out that there are so many things to say on the soapbox that this is like, well, we're not going to call it the soapbox episode. We're going to call it We Hold These Truths to Be Self-Evident. And Amber and I are going to exchange. We haven't prepared. I mean, we haven't pre-decided what we're going to talk about, but we're going to talk about aphorisms that we have found in our experience in, implementing and utilizing and certifying and surveying and all the things related to earned value management systems that we know to be truths that are self-evident, that we hold these truths. And I was a little bit inspired. I was telling Amber I wanted to use that title because those of you who listened to the Mike Fink astronaut episode, he slips that line in
Yes.
about halfway through. And I was like, yeah, I mean, it's not a cliche. It's like the founding of our country and the Declaration of Independence. So Amber, with that, since you gave me the mic first, I'm gonna turn the mic to you, and
Ooh.
we're just gonna see how this goes. What's her aphorism? Is it on my list? If it is, I'll tell you, and if it's not, then I'll go on to mine, and we'll just see how it goes. We're just
Oh,
gonna run this a few minutes, so listen
it's
up.
it's going to be fun. Okay, so these are our EVM aphorisms. When we had this idea, Barbara challenged, she already had some. And so she challenged me to create my own. So I have a little list here and I'm going to start going through them. I don't know which one I like the best. So I'm going to randomly pick one. And this one is it sounds it it should I give it a preamble or should I just say it? What do you think?
Just say it.
Okay. Here it is. EVMS aphorism number 1 from Amber Young today is EVMS is a system of systems.
Oh my gosh, that is a hard truth to
Mm,
learn, to
mm,
swallow, to
mm.
sober up to.
And
Uh,
it sounds so obvious, but it's not.
But it's not.
Mm-hmm.
It is not. I mean, it is a whole compilation of systems that
Mm-hmm.
have to work together to get to that data from which information can be made for informed decision making.
And systems are so fascinating because systems are not just, there's so many types of systems. Something that so my background is in theoretical sciences, and I did not have a firm education in engineering or anything that I'm now doing a lot more with in the world of EVMS. And I'd only in my time working in EVMS, the last like 13 years, have I learned about systems engineering and how really cool that is, right? What is a system? What is a human system? And then how do these integrate? It's a really fascinating science and practice. And then, yeah, so within EVMS, there's all kinds of systems. And then, yeah, I know I have a lot more to learn.
And I think when we're talking about systems, Amber, do you want to tell everybody what you mentioned systems engineering? What other systems are you referring to that make up an earned value management system? What other systems influence it or are a part of it that make it a
Yeah. So for me, when I think of the kind of the composite systems, I could expand it further and get more abstract, but the concrete composite systems, I really go back to the IP to a meter and I look at those subprocesses and I can just like start thinking through it. We've got our scheduling system, the
yes?
schedule and all of the tools that go into scheduling, the cost system and all the tools and things that go into cost, But then you have your accounting system that plugs in, which
Yeah.
is completely different than an EVMS cost processor system. You
Yes.
have your change control, which is a whole system of behaviors and policies, right? You have
Brilliant.
material management, separate system, procurement, separate system. You have subcontract management, that's a whole beast. And then
Yeah, we're not going to use the word system for that. We're just going to call it a beast. I think
that's the
that's
beast.
accurate. Yeah.
Risk management. Oh my gosh, I'm in love with risk management. And that's beyond system. That's just a really complex way of like seeing the universe. So all of these different factions of what is put into decision making, right? And then you've got human systems, the whole environment and culture, people, processes, practices, tools, all of those, they're all systems, and you can just keep abstracting it from there. Yeah.
Yeah,
Does
I mean,
that?
I think I would just add one thing, like what makes systems work together. And I was gonna use the word process, but I'm gonna use the word practices.
Yeah.
Being with the IP2M meter, using that vocabulary, I mean, it's writing down, training, learning, people,
Yeah.
communicating, using, doing what you said the way you said you were going to do it, that you don't work for the process or the practice, but the practice works for you. So if you're finding that these systems are working together in a way that isn't the way that you've documented how it's going to work, you either have to change the way you're doing it, or you have to change the way you said you were going to do it. And I think it really boils down to that very simple principle. And then we got to bring up our friend Roxy, because
Yeah.
guess what happens? Nobody wants to be wrong. Nobody wants to get
Yeah.
a B on their report card. Nobody,
Yeah.
and so people will be like, "Well, I can't be bothered to change the practice documentation, the desktop instruction, the SOP, or whatever it is that you're doing. You can't be bothered to change that." But then the communication among the people part of it, the resources part, the cultural part of it starts to break, because people are actually not really sure what they're supposed to be doing. They don't
Right.
want to be wrong. They don't want to be the only one in the room who's not sure what's going on. But really, you got to write down what everybody's doing and use training and communicate it. And I mean, we should just name the episode that. Shall we go on to another one, Amber?
Sounds great. Yes, that's the first truth that is held
Self-evident.
self-evident. Yes. So now your turn, Barbara.
Well, it's hard to top that, and I won't. I don't. None of mine can do that. But anyway, I will say a very elementary, obvious truth to even to people who don't practice it is that scope follows budget, and budget follows scope. People want to move budget without the related scope. People want to move the scope without the budget. And this happens all the time. If you want to descope something, then do that, throw the money back in, but you've documented what happened to the scope. I mean, I'm not good with physics, girl. Here, you help me with
Hmm.
this. But it's what happens with energy, right? It always just gets moved around. It
Sure.
never disappears, right? It
Created or
just
destroyed. Sure.
Thank you.
We'll go with that.
But that budget equals scope. People want to do that all the time. They just want it to disappear, and that's one of the reasons why the discipline that comes with some of these tools is appreciated by people who are doing the tracking of the compliance to the standard. Is that the way things go in and out of undistributed budget and go in and
Oh
out of
gosh.
MR,
Yes.
that change log of tracking
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
enforces budget and schedule working. You can't make one disappear without saying what happened to it, or
Right.
the log won't. The log is demanding. I hate for a tool to dictate how people perform. You want to write your process and have your tool perform for you, but sometimes the tools know better, because it's enforcing not necessarily the process or practices that you have in your organization, but it's enforcing the way the standard is.
Right.
And that is a very, very elementary but very hard to understand practice in earned value management, the relationship of scope and budget. People always want to budget from the past that was already associated with scope. Oh, but we didn't use it. We don't have any performance against it.
Right. Right.
Okay, you can't, you can't, this is not, I mean, I don't know how you feel about the word monopoly money. Probably you don't like that, but this is project management. This is not financial management. So if
Yes.
you replan budget from the past, you're defeating the system. The
Right.
system is trying to tell you you didn't get the work done that you originally planned. What are you doing about it now? What's your corrective action? It's data to make informed decisions. It's not to point out that you were wrong, but people want to do that all the time. They want to replan budget from the past, sometimes for the same scope.
No. Yes. I know. No. Scope budget needs to go together. And for me, some of the I've just this week had thoughts, headspace on buckets, right? So we talk about the gold card often, but it is really elementary in the world of earned value. I don't like to say that because it is not elementary, but it's, I guess, fundamental. It's one of the fundamental ways that we look at EVMS. We have an approved amount, our performance baseline, our PB or our TPC, our total project cost, whatever that total is. And then there's the federally held funds, and then there's the contractor funds, right? And then within the contractor, the CBB, we have the PMB and the MR. I know there's a lot of acronyms throwing around, but my point is there's all these buckets. And how do you show the change between the buckets? And who is responsible for making that change? And who is responsible for those decisions? And how do you track it all? And that is so critically important to know who makes those changes. Like MR, management reserve, that is the contractor. The contractor makes that change. And where is it tracked? Classically in a change control log, right?
Yeah.
And seeing the transactions, the debits and the credits really clearly is so important, because you have a finite budget and it has to go somewhere responsibly.
It's not for the auditor or the person doing surveillance. It's for the project itself
Mm-hmm.
to learn from. I mean, things didn't happen the way you originally planned. Okay.
Yeah.
Now what are you doing about, replanning the future? Or, in the case of using management reserve, we thought we were going to subcontract it out. That subcontractor is a bust. We're going to have to hire the resources inside. Same scope.
Right.
Well, that didn't go as planned. And that would prompt a variance analysis report.
Right. Right.
It's
Yeah.
costing less because we're hiring inside. Well, okay. Or it's costing more, we're hiring inside. I mean, whatever the answer is, that's what goes in the bar. That's what goes in the variance analysis report. And then you have that documentation and you can use that for future estimating. Hey,
Yeah.
we tried to sub that work out in the last project. Did we learn from it? Maybe, maybe not. But that sort of thing, that's the purpose of the whole thing. That's the purpose of documenting all of that stuff. And
Yeah.
so it's self-evident.
I agree. Yes. Okay. I think I know we're getting at our 15-ish minute mark. Do you think we could do two more?
I
I
think
think we
so.
could do two more. Okay. So I'm gonna do one. I think this one might be short because it's kind of crisp. So second EVMS aphorism from Amber Young today is discreet, discreet, discreet. That's
Is that a disco song? What is that?
performance measurement. How do you measure performance on something that's not discrete, right? LOE just chunks along with time. So the more you can have discrete work that you can then claim performance on and actually see where your progress is being made, it is an art and a science to understand how to do that, right? But I think that is part of the goal. And really the point there is visibility to understand where you are, right? Where are we? And just that is a very meaningful question. And it's very good to know. And the leaders need to know and the stakeholders need to know. So discrete, discrete, discrete.
I think that the fourth aphorism from Barbara Phillips is directly coincident with that. And we have a list. We both have a list of more things. So we'll probably have another episode on this. But one of the ones I did write down ahead of time was that LOE never has schedule variance.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people, as you're clicking along, like you forget, but people forget, I think, or forget that truth is held self-evident, but that, when you do designate something as LOE, I'm not saying you're defeating the system exactly, but it leans toward it. Because you're not going to get those exceptions. You're not going to get the percolation of what discrete metrics give you, which
Right.
is that we're not getting the work done, or we're getting more work done than we planned, or we're getting less work done. Because with the LOE, all you know is if you spent more than you planned, and a lot of people mess up even managing or designating LOE as their performance or value technique. I forget which one you like. Because they'll put it down and they'll end up with an egregious cost variance.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, oh, yeah, no, we thought that was going to be 5 resources. We just got 2 people on that charge code now. Well,
Right.
you don't have a schedule variance. So then the schedule variance from the LOE work will, I'm going to use the word mask or disguise or dilute,
Yeah.
the overall schedule variance. You will have paid Paul and I forget how that works. Paid
Maybe
Paul still from Peter. So anyway, that kind of thing where you balance it out. So when you
Yeah.
percolate to the top, when you roll your metrics up, you end up in no variance.
Yeah.
But in fact, your discrete work is telling you need to take some corrective action, but you don't see it because you've diluted it with the LOE metrics. So I think,
Exactly.
as usual, we're in direct concert and violent agreement with each other, Amber.
Because these truths are self-evident.
And peace.
I think that we are great here. We have more. I think we're going to
We
do
have more. We'll
episode
do
part
another episode.
2.
It was
Yes.
fun. I love talking to you.
That was great. Yes. I love talking with you too. And I love that there's people out there who are listening. So please keep listening.
We do
and
appreciate it.
please enjoy it, I hope, and share with others and invite them to the podcast and the LinkedIn group.
Okay. And with that, that's it from
Let's
Let's
talk
Talk
EVMS.
EVMS.